Welcome to another episode of Are You Mad at Me? I'm Vickie Morgan.
I'm Josh Morgan, and it's 2025.
Yay!
That was my best FM radio voice. It's FM. It's 2025.
That's FM radio.
That's a bit like Johnny Olson from the old Price is Right.
Was it Johnny? Oh, I thought you were going to say
A new car.
I was thinking the Johnny guy from WKRP in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah. That's a good show.
Now, do you want me to do my best FM radio?
I think we all deserve to hear
FM radio. Ready? Will you say something that's not funny?
Boys.
How's that?
Audio,
they'll be calling.
Our audio engineers are going to love that one.
Yeah. You can reach us at, what's our work number?
735K-Rock.
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's like...
That's stupid. Why would you say that?
Well, that's not our phone number. Isn't it like 709-700-1894 or something?
Oh, you
like
mean
that?
our actual business
number. So if
self-published
you're
NL
looking
phone
to
number.
book us...
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I should know that, right? I guess.
We should find... Can you look that up on your little doohickey there while we're...
Enhance.
All right.
I'm going
to spit tea across the room. That's amazing. Enhance.
Hang on, it's here somewhere. 709. Now, are you going to talk over it?
No. Yes, there should be some background music. Do the phone number. Ugh, sorry you had to see us fight like that. This is very embarrassing.
709-400-1784 is our self-published NL business number.
And I said it was 171894.
It was so close.
So what was it? 400?
709-400-1784. That really reminds me of that old Kevin James stand-up where he's talking about like phone number rhythm. It's da 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 da. And then they did that joke in King of Queens where the dad Arthur was telling him a phone number and he was like just saying random numbers. And he goes 16 and he was like, you got to tell me the team. I can't put a 1 in there.
We have a 17 in ours. So it'll be 709-400-17-8.
I like to say 4001
no,
784.
Don't do that. Anyway, I don't think there's going to be
Why are we talking about
I don't think there's going to be
number?
anyone calling to book me to do an FM radio gig, but you never know. You never know. Crazier things have happened. So
and if you don't want to mess with all that, just call 795K-Rock.
That's not a real number. Can we edit that out?
No.
Can we get in touch with... I'm just going to talk to the team here. Can you get that out afterwards?
Guys,
okay.
Ignore her. There's nobody there. I wish we could turn the camera around and show the wall of nothing that's behind the camera.
We're just trying to not freak anybody out with the COVID restrictions. There's not that many people in the room. But there is a team here, and they work very hard. So we
are all wearing masks.
Can we add some applause?
I'm just going to put this up close to your mouth so the audience can hear you.
Can we add some applause in? So for the team.
Last week we had to start our podcast over. I think this week...
Yeah,
let's just scrap it.
I noticed you left in both of them. So, I mean, whoever
we
does
were
the audio
35 minutes in. I'm not going to scrap 35
rolling.
minutes of audio.
All right, so we're going to have some segments, I think, going forward. So this is.
I got to tell you,
episode
I'm drinking
7.
hot coffee, and earlier tonight I was cooking dinner, and I think this is karma because I was having a sneaky hot dog while I was cooking dinner. I went over to the fridge and I got a hot dog. I was so hungry.
That's not a real thing.
It was a pre-dinner hot dog.
A side sandwich.
And I bit the ever-living fire out of my lip.
Okay.
Right, just right on the edge there.
Having
and man, it hurt. And it was one of those bites where you hear the crunch.
Oh, was it from the hot dog though? Was the hot dog?
It was
crunchy?
while I was. No, it wasn't. It was actual human skin. So, then while we were eating dinner, bit the same friggin' spot again, and then again later on in the same dinner. There's no less than 5 times since I was making dinner earlier that I've bit the same spot, and now it's like ground beef inside my mouth. And I just drank a cup. I just drank a cup of coffee. Drink of coffee, and it burns so bad.
If it happens one more time, I'm going home for the day, Jim Halpert.
Yes, it was very Jim Halpert. I kicked I was sitting on the couch sideways, laying down, eating dinner for some reason, and I kicked like the kids when they get killed in Fortnite. I was like, son of a, just kicking the couch and just.
I'm going to add that to my list here. Fortnite. If anyone listening is a Fortnite player, please get in touch with us. We are big-time Fortnite players. And I was thinking about actually possibly doing a couple of episodes of a podcast while we're playing Fortnite. I'm going to say I don't want anybody to be too intimidated, but I'm pretty good.
That's a fact. You have multiple crown victories.
I'm going to finish the sentence. For a mom who's 47. I don't think I've reached my age yet this year, this season on levels. But anyway, I don't want to talk too much about Fortnite just in case people are like, I don't even know what Fortnite is.
No spoilers.
It's the best game ever made.
It's super fun.
Yeah, and
we started playing with our kids, and
both
we just
of these things.
Now,
what's this called?
It's the dual axis.
Dual axis.
You got one joystick that goes forward, backwards, and side to side, and then the other joystick turns the camera around and goes up and down.
So that used to make me kind of dizzy.
Me too.
At first,
when Halo first came out back in like 2003 or whatever, it was like, I can't handle this. I need Mario. And then
so we're used to side scrollers, right?
Yeah, right. Like up, down, left, right. That's
I was pretty freaked out when Mario came out, and you could like go backwards and stuff. That was a little weird that it wasn't just left.
Mario 3, you could go backwards. You weren't stuck.
That was a little freaky.
Yeah.
But then it seemed claustrophobic when you play the old games. It was claustrophobic that you couldn't go back. So it was a little. So I'm evolving, and I didn't start playing Fortnite till I think 2 Christmases ago. It was a way to.
Is that all? I feel like it's been a few years.
Maybe it was 3. Well, but anyway,
we started playing with the boys, and now it's funny because the boys are like kind of. They play every now and then, but now it's like it's just. Me and Vickie sitting on the couch playing Fortnite together.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do a squad fill just so other people will play with us.
Yeah. We're just going to take a little sip of our sad coffee.
Yeah,
now.
sad coffee. Sad Fortnite coffee.
So anyway, if you want to look me up on Fortnite, I am Mulberry Creek Mrs. MRS.
Since we're in our 40s.
What are yours? What's your handle on there?
Cool.
Big fan of Community, in case you didn't watch that show.
Job Ed.
So cool, and Mulberry Creek Misses. Look us up, and I think it'd be pretty fun to put the podcast down in the bottom corner and just be playing Fortnite. Could we set it up down here? We could play Fortnite on a screen down here and share it.
Hook up the PS4 to a projector. I got to switch lights.
We got a team for that. We don't need to worry about the details. We can,
we'll just let the team handle that.
We'll just let the team handle that.
I'm the team.
All right.
No, I thought we could have a segment, Fortnite, and we're in our 40s. 40s night. That's terrible. It's like
a bad. It's like a bad 40 night.
Middle-aged
Let's
dance.
play 40 night because we're over 40. 40 night. 40 plus night.
It sounds like a dance down at the hall.
That also sounds fun. I think there should be a 35 plus club. Do you like my slippers? I got these for Christmas from our.
We did get Christmas presents, didn't we? Hey, how was your New Year's changeover day?
Well, I took a video on my phone of it changing over. Mm-hmm. We saw a bunch of fireworks. We had a little friend over.
We had a couple friends over for the kids.
We went to a movie.
We went and saw Sonic in the theater, which was super fun because the boys got movie gift cards for Christmas from Santa. So we went and saw Sonic on New Year's Eve.
It was awesome.
It was so fun.
It was really fun. It was a great movie. I love Jim Carrey.
I want to give spoilers so bad.
No, we're not.
You think anybody that listens to our podcast hasn't seen Sonic yet?
Only because they're infinitely cooler than us. They've probably already seen it, but anyway. It was really fantastic, and we had a really fantastic New Year's Eve, and it was nice to... I still haven't opened up the front door and let out the old year. Oh, I should go do that right now.
Go ahead. I'll keep everybody company.
I'll be back.
All right, so this is what I've been waiting for. It's time for me to take over the podcast. It's my podcast now. I'm going to go lock the basement door. So Vickie... No, I'm just kidding. I thought this was a joke, but she's actually going up to open the doors. We have dogs. We have beagles that run. Okay, Sparky, stay. Sparky, stay. It's just a New Year's Eve thing. So up here, okay, so people that are in the South, where my family is, we never heard of this, but apparently there's a tradition that you open up the front and back doors at the same time. You got to guard the doors because if you got dogs, they'll run. And you let the old year out and the new year in. It's a thing. Also, sometimes people go outside and shoot guns. That's just a red... Okay, relax. It's fine. Everything's fine. This is a New Year's tradition here in Newfoundland or Canada or England, British. Maybe it's a British thing. I don't know. This is, I feel like when Garth was left out on stage by himself in Wayne's World, and he's like, hi, we're having fun now. I'm by myself.
Wayne's World.
Vickie's back with the dogs.
World.
They did not run away.
They did not like the doors.
Nothing's happening. We're back here in the house.
Well, to be fair, both doors open at the same time, so...
No telling how many...
The kids did not enjoy that because they were afraid I'd let the dogs out. But I did let in the old... I let up the old ear.
I was just explaining how that... I don't think is a
year.
tradition in the U.S. or in the South, at least, because that's something I never heard of until we got together.
Yeah, it's a Newfoundland thing. I mean, I've never seen reasonable people do it, except for here in Newfoundland. So anyway, now we can start the new year.
Does it feel better now? Do you feel like everything's...
There's a few things that were a little askew, and I think it might be because I didn't do that.
Oh, yeah.
So my OCD is going really well so far this year. Like, I had it going well, and then I realized I missed a thing, so anyway, I'm going to have to go retrace all my steps and count a whole bunch of things now to catch up and
just redo
it.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
I like it.
That'll give me something to do. That's nice to keep me busy.
So happy 2025.
Happy 2025. Yeah, I'm sorry I actually went and did that just now. You know I went and opened both doors now, right?
I know. I could hear you. And I heard the dogs, and Sparky was down here very concerned.
Yeah. And Henry was following me going, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you opening the doors? The dogs are going to get out. And I was like, it's very important. So Henry just saw me in a... Anyway.
Henry's 14. He has his own phone number now. He's the man of the house. He's got to take care of things.
Yes, and happy birthday once again to Henry. It was we had a great birthday. Hey, of course, New Year's Day everything was shut down, and then the next day was kind of stormy.
We told Henry a couple days before his birthday, we'll go anywhere you want for dinner on your birthday, and not even thinking because it's only been 14 years now that his birthday is on a holiday and everything's closed except McDonald's and Irving, the gas station. So
nothing like a bag of chips from Irving on your birthday.
And a Gatorade and some antifreeze, some windshield wash. No, so we told him we'd go on his birthday and go whatever food you want. Sky's the limit. And then nothing was open, so he was very disappointed. So then January 2nd, like everything's open again, we can go out today and do anything you want. And we don't have a car, and it was like
blowing gales.
It was like
rain, wind,
the monsoon and Karate Kid 2. Like we couldn't go outside at all.
Yep.
So then we finally went out yesterday we went to Chess's Fish and Chips here in town and got so much food. And he wanted to get some pie. We got him a slice of lemon meringue pie.
Chess's does a really great job on the pies. I'm pretty sure my mom is in the back there cooking them because they're delicious, and that's Henry's favorite. So I thought we should get a pie for the table and just go at it with 4 forks.
A table pie. Yeah, that's the thing.
A table pie. It should be a thing.
Just give us a big pile of forks and a pie for the table.
It'd be pretty big. I think we should do that one day.
Just go in there like kind of hungry, not right after we ate, because we had just eaten like a bunch.
That might have been the key. We probably shouldn't have had dinner first. We should start with pie.
You know, none of us had a piece of fish at Chess's Fish and Chips. We had chicken and
burgers.
Henry had a burger and fries.
I want to get on this dessert idea.
This table pie.
Here's here's something I've been wanting to do.
I'm gonna name this episode Table Pie.
Perfect. Something I've been wanting to do.
I mean, I'm gonna have the editing team do it. I'm gonna have our people handle it.
I'd like to do dessert theater, where we have a show that we produce, and there's also dessert theater.
Instead of like dinner theater,
but just dessert. So we did a show in New Brunswick. Your dogs are out of control, Sparky. So when we play this episode back, and when he hears that part, they will all go crazy when they hear. So you guys be nice now. Hey.
Yeah, because we do just listen to our podcast on a loop in our house.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we like it. Why wouldn't we?
That's right.
Anyway, we did a show up in New Brunswick. Okay, so you got to explain that now. Tell the Childish Gambino story. Okay, doggies. Hello.
Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, was on a date, and he told this story that a girl got in his car and his music was playing, and she was like, "Is this you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Why are you listening to your own music?" He's like, "I like it. It's my music. Why wouldn't I make music that I like and want to listen to?" Valid point. We don't actually listen to our podcast on a loop in our house. Well, you do when
it's editing sometimes, and so we'll hear the same clip over and over again. So that's kind of fun.
So that's fun.
Where was I?
I think you were talking about table pies.
Dessert theater. So, I mean, maybe there'd be table pies at dessert theater.
Ooh, I just had a great idea for that.
Don't say peanut butter fingers.
Peanut butter fingers, no. When I was growing up, and I lived in North Carolina, and we lived in Boone, there was a place called the Daniel Boone Inn, and they had family-style dinner. So you'd go in there, and it'd be like this big table.
And everybody fight and throw stuff at each other.
There's somebody saying racist stuff. Somebody's drunk. Anyway, no, it was family. It was family.
Well, then,
so
can we do that?
Family style
Let's
restaurant.
do a family style dinner.
All right, you get to be the drunk uncle.
For those who don't know, Drunk Uncle is a Saturday Night Live character.
We don't need to explain everything.
We'll put links to that.
You're going to alienate the audience.
Well, I don't want to alienate more people. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Family style food. There was like a big table, like 8 or 10 people sat at these big round tables, and you would order like a family dinner. Like I think there was like 3 or 4 choices.
Yeah.
I only ate there once or twice because we were poor. But everybody, it was like they bring out like a big carafe of peas and a great big plate full of chicken.
No, thank you. I'm not going to this dinner ever.
A whole bunch of mashed potatoes and a big thing of gravy, and like you just would serve yourself onto your plate it was family style. So what if there was a dinner theater that had just desserts, and it was like family style. So there was like a whole lemon meringue pie and a whole cake and like a tray of cupcakes and like.
Yeah, Harry, it's the Rockies.
An urn of coffee.
I feel like that's the vibe right now. Yeah, Harry, it's the Rockies.
Yeah.
So
obviously that's what we're going to do.
Many moons ago, when we were living in New Brunswick, we did a show at the curling club because that was, the height.
I'm just going to explain for our American audience. Curling is a sport, and I'm kidding. We don't have to explain everything.
Yeah. So there was a club, like this arena or whatever, and so there was no theater space, and so there was a group of us that did a show
at the curling club.
At the curling club, up in their room where the teams have meetings or whatever. So it wasn't a big place. I think there was seating for about 100. That was the word. There was sleeping. What was the word for? It sleeps 100. It sleeps 100. Yeah, that was hilarious. But anyway, the idea was that there was a few plays, there was a few short, funny plays, and then there was dessert. So there was during the intermission, there was tea and coffee. I think there might have been alcohol in the curling club, if I'm not mistaken. And then there was desserts. There was 3 or 4 options for desserts.
I don't think curling is doable without alcohol. I think they had to have alcohol in the curling club. That's
not the point. Try to stay focused. We're talking about the theater part of it because we used the curling club. That is not a relevant detail.
Rum cake and whatnot.
Nope. Also, no. This is going to be great for the clips. I see what you're doing now. You're just setting me up so you can have clips for promotion.
I'm just making my editing for the team
promotional.
Way easier.
Yeah. So dessert theater. That's where the idea came from because there's lots of dinner theaters here in. There's one.
There's one. Lots of people go to dinner theaters.
There's one, and the tickets are $120. And so when I think about putting something off like that, I don't want to worry about the temperature of the chicken or the freshness of the fish because that's just a headache. And then all the sides and all the options and different dietary restrictions and stuff. But I think desserts are pretty straightforward. Aside from allergies, I think that would just be a fun night. You have your dinner at home. You worry about your chicken and your fish. And come out after, because we've gone to Jungle Jim's a few times just for dessert. And I think we're probably going to go to Chess's again.
Just for a table pie.
Just for dessert, just for a table pie. So that's my idea. I do have a script ready to go that I wrote last summer. I think it's funny, but I think I might just write another one just to make sure, because I kind of liked writing it. So I might have a few scripts ready to go. And if anybody's interested in jumping in on that and helping me do a dessert theater, that'd be something I'd like to take on the road, actually. To just do dessert, because it's something that's coming to town.
We'd have to keep the desserts cold. That'd be hard driving to a different town.
What kind of desserts?
Well, if we're driving around, we need to keep the pies cold and stuff.
Why don't we just go to Costco, get a couple of frozen cheesecakes? It doesn't have to be fancy. We don't need a sous chef in the back. We need desserts. Put out a couple of basket of 2-bite brownies, and not everybody goes to Costco. So for some people, this is high cuisine.
Luxury.
Well, it is. Or the apple flips, or what else has Costco got? That great big sheet cake. Now, there's one cake that tastes like soap. We're not getting that one.
Well, they got that cake that's got a layer of custard in the middle, and it's
so good.
It's like Vaseline.
No, not that
so
one.
Gross.
Okay, not that one. So we did get that one. You can actually return a cake to Costco. Little known fact.
A cake.
It was
you can return
disgusting.
anything to Costco. People just look at you funny in the line sometimes.
We bought one year for my mom, and we actually shoved a cake off the little plates back onto the thing, and we were like, "Nope, it tasted like Vaseline."
We formed the icing back over so it looked like it was.
But they took it back. They were like, "Yeah, we know it's gross."
These are terrible.
But there's a really good chocolate layer cake that they have at Costco, and they also have.
They got those tuxedo cakes.
They got
too,
tuxedo
right?
cakes, which are just amazing, and they got strawberry shortcakes. They got the ones with the red stuff, the red goo, and then the
white crunchies.
There's no crunchies.
The red
it shouldn't
goo
be
and
crunchy.
the
Are
white
you
crunchies.
chewing on your face while you're eating cake? I don't know.
I feel like my lip is swollen where I bit it. I feel like I'm talking funny.
You're not talking funny, but I got a fat lip from earlier today.
You got torpedoed in the mouth by the dog earlier.
I did.
I was
hugging one dog, and the other one was like, "It's my turn," and she just right up in my face. Have we started the show yet?
Welcome to the Are You Mad at Me podcast.
And I'm pretty excited. I'm really glad we're doing this. This is episode 7, but it's the first one of the new year. Is this our second season, or?
This is whatever. We can call it whatever we want. I just put random season and episode numbers in Spotify when the team uploads it. I mean, they put it.
That's a good idea. That's good business sense right there. So I have a few stories. I took a few notes because there was stuff I wanted to share.
We got notes. Do you want to go through comments first, or did you want to do stories first?
So let's do segments. I think there should be a segment of the show dedicated to Nate Bargatze, just to let people know where we are in the Catching Up on the Nateland podcast, which, again, if you haven't listened to it, go look it up. It's the best thing ever. I think we're up to the Olympics episode.
Yeah. Yep. Which is like 50.
So it's past the first year. And it's really hard because I keep seeing stuff in my newsfeed of clips of the new shows, and it's so hard to not jump ahead.
I know.
But anyway, OCD at work. I can't listen to the new ones, and, because I don't know. I just set it in my mind. But maybe we
would miss too much if we skipped ahead. So that's good.
That's what I'm worried about because I don't want to miss a moment. And so this is the segment that we call Nateland appreciation. So go listen to Nateland podcast. It's awesome. I think we should listen to comments. We had some really good feedback.
So since we're talking, is this still the segment of Nateland appreciation? Because we could read some comments from their podcast, and it would just be about that.
No, I don't care for that.
No,
I don't care for that.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Can you guys edit that out when it? Yeah. Okay. We did get some lovely comments over the past week or two.
Yeah, and people have been telling us in person.
Yeah, and we're like, that's great, but go write it down online so there's
It doesn't
proof.
matter unless you put it on Facebook and
Nobody
people can
else
see it.
hears it this way.
That's right. I'm pretty sure. Never mind.
So
what do you got?
Your friend Paul has been, speaking of Nate Bargatze, is a fan, and he said that they're halfway through. When he wrote, his family's watching the Nate Bargatze Netflix special, the new one that just came out on Christmas Eve. Was it Christmas Eve that it came out?
Yes, yeah, that was amazing.
Also a massive fan of Nate Bargatze, but also of us, I'm sure, is what he meant. Been enjoying your podcast. Merry Christmas. So that's lovely. Paul's
amazing.
Yeah.
I got it. Paul is one of those people that's like super positive. And we started, on kind of on a related note, we started watching Ted Lasso, which we heard about from Nateland.
And we haven't watched it because we're like, neither one of us is really into sports. So it's like, we don't really want to watch a sports show. But it's like, it's really not.
It's not about sports.
Because like if you watch,
not at all.
If you're a football fan, an American football fan, there's none of that in it. If you're a British football fan, there's
nothing.
Hardly any like actual soccer stuff.
Yeah, your knowledge of football or soccer does not have any impact on
it's really a great show.
So Ted Lasso, if you want to meet a real life Ted Lasso, go to Grand Falls and go look up Brazilian
Jiu-Jitsu?
It's called a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu newfound. Oh my God, I should know this.
Do you want me to Google it?
Yeah. So Paul is one of the most positive people I've ever met in my entire life. He goes full on into whatever he's doing, and he's just so passionate and so fun to be around and all that. And so I'm glad Paul's listening because
Newfound Tao BJJ.
Newfound Tao
Brazilian
BJJ.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, look them up. They got like the content they put on there is really fantastic. If we were living in Grand Falls, 100%, I would have my kids in Paul's classes because he teaches kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he's really great, Paul. I'm glad you're listening, and I hope we're making you laugh a little bit because it's really nice to hear from you. So thanks for listening and thanks for reaching out.
And we love getting comments.
Absolutely. What else you got?
So our cousin Blaine, who he's been listening. I think since episode 1. I think
going back all the shows we've ever made.
They were listening to the Mulberry
fantastic.
Creek Hour, and they're just fans of us, which is fantastic. We kept mentioning share your art.
We're fans of them also.
We kept mentioning share your art, share your creations, share what you do, and put it out there and be vulnerable and let people see what you do. So Blaine said, he wrote in, I'll share my creations. I've been doing family genealogy for years, and in late October, I decided to do it freelance. I'm 2 months in. I've gotten 8 jobs and 1 in the queue. Awesome. I'm grateful for those that entrust me with their family stories. When I'm researching, I lose track of time, which means it's a good mental health activity. Fantastic. Time flies when you're having fun, right? He says, in 2025, I hope to add video content and expand my social media presence. Cheers and Happy New Year's.
Awesome.
So that's plans for the New Year's. He's sharing his work, his
amazing.
Creations, what he's passionate about.
Yep.
And
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
Yeah, because video is always really good because especially like I've done a lot of. We talked about it last week. Like I've done several photo slideshows for people or like memorial videos where it's like, you're putting pictures together and giving them to somebody so they can share it before I did one for a lady's funeral. Before she died.
Yeah.
She wanted me to do this because she was dying and wanted me to, which was crazy talking to somebody about their funeral when they weren't, so, but yeah, that's really personal and, like touching stuff, right? Like,
yep.
Emotional.
And so Blaine's looking into people's genealogy
that's what he's
tracing people's family trees and stuff.
So adding video content is a great idea, though. That's what I think.
Well, there's the visual part of it is, I'm not sure what he has in mind, but I feel like I can already imagine what he's going to be doing with that. So I'm looking forward to that, Blaine. Keep it up. And thanks for listening. And Happy New Year to you and Kim and Maddie. And we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Tennessee. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I am looking forward to many trips to Tennessee.
That's our cousins in Tennessee.
Yep. Really looking forward to that and hanging out and, campfires and roasting marshmallows. And I don't know, what's the temperature? What is it like in Tennessee? Is it like harsh winters like here, or is it warm all the time like North Carolina?
So I've only gone into Tennessee as far as the Blue Ridge Mountains, like Pigeon Forge, that area. Like we went to Dollywood when I was in high school. It was the weekend that Princess Diana died. That's a fun fact. But that's the mountains. Like that's kind of where I grew up, was the mountains of North Carolina, right on the other side of the Blue Ridge Mountains from Pigeon Forge. I've never been into Tennessee, but I would imagine it when it gets down lower, it gets pretty warm in the summer and stuff. I can't imagine they have super cold winters.
I just forgot what I asked you because I was thinking about what I was doing when Princess Diana died. But anyway.
Where were you on 9/11?
No.
No?
No. But I do remember. So, Dollywood.
Was that 96?
97? No, I think it's 97 or 98. It was a little later than that because I was about 18. I was about 19.
I bungee jumped in Pigeon Forge.
Yeah?
That was fun.
You survived?
No.
Ridiculous human being.
We got another message here from your friend Bob. This is another high school friend. Oh, no, not another high school friend, but somebody you've known for a long time.
Yeah. Living in New York.
I've been watching your podcast. It seems to me whether you're singing or doing comedy or just telling stories, you belong behind a camera and or microphone. It's good to see you again. Thanks, Bob. Like I'm glad somebody's seeing me and really seeing me for my singing and my comedy and my storytelling ability. Oh, he's talking to you. Thank you anyway. That's also nice.
Okay. We did have a couple people tell us that they've been listening and that it feels like, how they described it was, it feels like they're sitting here with us. It's just like sitting down and having a conversation with us. So I think we should open up the show from now on with, okay, we're about to start. Go grab yourself a cup of tea, and we should have an empty. So this couch right here behind us this is open to whoever wants to sit here. Anybody that's feeling a little bit lonely or needs a laugh or whatever wants to sit in with us. As much as you're imagining you're here, so am I. This seat is open.
And there's usually at least one dog on the couch, so you get to cuddle.
Yeah, if you're allergic to dogs, you might want to bring some Claritin or something like that. But
load up.
Yeah, preload on antihistamines. But this is a great way to connect with people, and I like the timeliness of it. Like it's I like doing one every week instead of spreading it out. Even I actually feel like it's a little too long to wait each week, but that's about like living life for a week and then
we don't want to overload the editing team with too much editing work every week.
Absolutely.
But I'm enjoying it too. Yeah, I think it's good.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
And so I think I might. So I've been got to catch up on some show notes and some
over there on our website, selfpublishednl.com.
Yeah. So if you've missed an episode, you can go back and just do a scan and see. You're not missing anything. There's not like we got any inside jokes that you need to be.
This is serial. So if you don't listen to the first episode, you're gonna not have any idea what's going on.
It's not like that. So basically, there's a section where Vickie talks about how much she loves Nate Bargatze, and then there's a section where they hear from comments, and it's probably some of their friends, and they're just sharing messages that maybe people didn't even know we were going to share. And then Vickie complains about something and tells a story about how probably someone's mad at her, and then Josh says something so charming and also so dumb,
disarmingly hilarious
at the same time. Oh, I got right past you there. I do have a couple of stories. I got a little note made here because I wanted to share it. It was like when it happened, I was like, I want to share that on the podcast. So many years ago, when I was little younger, I lived in kind of a bad neighborhood, and we were all kind of I don't know how to best describe it. We were like literally dirty little kids, just like runny, dirty little faces and. I don't know. It wasn't a great neighborhood. It was a little tough. It was a little bit like, some pharmaceutical sales in the area kind of thing. And the kids were a little rough around the edges because for different reasons, we were all a little bit rough. And so one of the things that you would hear quite often in my neighborhood when I was young was, and I have no idea what the idea was, what our dads were going to do with these, but when we would fight as kids, we would bring our parents into it.
Yeah.
And we would say,
my dad can beat up your dad, that sort of thing?
Yeah. Or we'd like make fun of what the inside of each other's houses look like. Or like one guy, his dad used to wear his pants real low on his hips. And we'd say, tell your father to pull up his pants. And then we'd get into how tough each other's fathers were. And for some reason, someone would be known to say, my father got chains. Now, what they were going to do with said chains, these metal, like it was literally metal. I know what they meant. Metal, I don't know. Metal
like tire chains?
Not really. They weren't really, like, because tire chains have these, like, connectors on them and you actually put them around it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if they all had loose chains in their house. It wasn't like necklaces. It was like chains.
One of those big spools like they have at the hardware store?
No,
take chains
like
off of?
a length of chain. And what they were going to do with it, I never saw anybody fight with these chains, but I just remember this is my childhood summed up in one sentence. When my father got chains. And so it stuck with me. So, like, going back a little while, anyway, there was somebody that used to say, I'm not afraid of his karate. That's a whole different story.
Oh, karate's different.
Someone had learned a little bit of karate, and someone else was known to say, well, I don't care, I'm not afraid of his karate. But as a child, there was this thing, was my father got chains. And it wasn't my father or my dad, it was my father got chains. So earlier today, this sweet little girl, this sweetest little thing, looked up in my face.
This is like in our neighborhood.
So years have passed, and I'm living in a neighborhood that's a little better than was when I was a kid, but it's not far from my old neighborhood. So this little girl is looking up in my face, and she's like 5 years old, and she's telling me something, she's ratting on somebody. And it wasn't something I could help her with because she made it up. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see what we can do about that. And she goes, that's all right. My father got cameras.
We got cameras.
No, my father got cameras, and it was like, what year is it? So I guess we've advanced from...
It's the 2025 version.
Metal chains into my father got cameras.
Surveillance.
I mean, it was just like, it struck me so funny. It was just, I got to share that because that is priceless. And how far we've come. No more chains. Our fathers aren't going to go out and wrestle in the backyard. It's... my father's going to report your father because we have cameras. It was implied, there was video footage of this thing she was reporting from the neighborhood. We don't have a neighborhood watch. We just have this little girl who tells everything and sees everything and wants everybody to be involved and mad about it. But it was pretty sweet.
She's Big Brother.
But my father got cameras, and I just died. I laughed so hard, and she was like, "Okay, I guess Miss Vickie lost her mind." But I did. It was so funny because it reminded me so. Like, I don't remember what the plan was ever to do with the chains, and nobody ever took them out.
I thought that the updated version would be my father has cargo straps.
No, they weren't in the moving industry. It was just that there was going to be and I don't know if it was in a movie they saw or whatever, but be like, okay, what's your dad going to do with chains? I don't care. Like, he's going to get out of a snowbank if he gets stuck, or
cool.
Should we call you if we get stuck in the snowbank and we can help each other out, kind of a thing. But it was really a show of strength that my father got chains. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that.
Early 80s flex.
So, and we also wanted to share this thing. I got an email today asking if I wanted to be trained in end-of-life palliative yoga certification. And that just cracked me up. Now, I don't know if everybody has the same experiences with palliative care, but I'm thinking that if I were to walk into a room and say, who wants to do downward dog when somebody is like at the end of their... Palliative care is like end of life. It's like the hospital is done with you. You're just being kept comfortable with, minimal staff, minimal interruptions, and you're just put in a cozy room where your family can come visit you at the end of your life. I can't imagine what moves we would do in a room, so I figured the only move I could think of was downward pillow, where you just help them go on to the next segment of existence, and you just...
That's really end-of-life yoga.
Wait till they stop moving? I don't know. But who wants to do yoga in palliative care? I mean, what a waste.
I've heard of like chair yoga in like nursing homes, where they'll sit in chair, like they don't have maybe the dexterity or the strength to do all the poses. So it's mostly just, moving your arms and your torso and stuff. But like, I feel like palliative care, you're like in a bed, hooked up to machines.
Yeah. Flexibility is not really your biggest concern at that point, or like joint lubrication of your joints, or flexibility, or can you still put your legs behind your head?
Breathing exercises.
Who cares? Like, I don't know. Maybe I should have read the email.
It sounded... it's funny because I saw a video earlier today. This lady was talking about having it was like a TikTok from some lady in upstate New York, and she was talking about how she had some Amish people build a barn on her land. And it was like a slideshow of like 20 pictures, and you're going through it, and she's describing all the great work they did and all that stuff. And one of them was just a picture of a light fixture, and it said, The Amish electrician hooked this up for me and told me to turn the switch on. It was such a great, and it was like, wait a second, Amish electrician? So like every single comment, like there was this, the slideshow was beautiful. It was like the barn and starting from, it was just a field and then this beautiful barn that they had built, and every single comment was like, seriously, Amish electrician? There's, okay. So yeah, that's funny that you got palliative yoga. Then we had Amish electrician, I think, in the same day.
So my only experience with Amish, with the Amish people, is they make the chairs outside of Cracker Barrel, right? Those really beautiful rocking chairs.
Are those Amish chairs?
I'm pretty positive. Yeah, I think so.
I know there was some Amish.
You could buy Cracker Barrel
furniture builders in Maine, like up, like not close to where we live.
I feel like they were very expensive rocking chairs.
Maybe they were Quakers
out in front of. Okay.
They might have been Amish rocking chairs. That's a good question. If anybody works at Cracker Barrel and listens to our podcast.
Also, yes, can you get us some gift cards for when we're passing through the U.S.? Because man, I miss Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel was delicious. And you know what's really funny is that there's a Cracker Barrel brand cheese that they sell here, and it's every time I see it, I'm like, ooh, Cracker Barrel food. It's like, no, different Cracker Barrel.
Is it, though?
I think it's different.
Maybe they make cheese and they have a line of restaurants.
I don't like it.
I don't know. Anyway.
So I'm looking at Cracker Barrel has a shop, a website where you can buy their rocking chairs.
Yeah. And does it say who makes them?
That's a good question.
So maybe I'm remembering it wrong. It seems like I've seen Amish craftsmanship, and it was pretty impressive. But anyway, so when you were telling me that barn story today,
I don't see the word Amish on here anywhere.
Okay, maybe it wasn't.
But that doesn't mean anything.
Maybe it wasn't. Anyway, sorry to misinform, but that's not why we're here.
I wonder if I can order some Cracker Barrel to be delivered to Newfoundland. You think they'd send us some mac and cheese or some...
Or some recipes. We'll make it here.
They had really good apple butter, didn't they?
Jars of apple butter.
Jars of spiced apple butter.
And the biscuits. Remember the biscuits? That would be like a whole... I'd fill up on biscuits and apple butter at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. So the closest one, of course, we have would be Maine. So after we cross over from New Brunswick, we'll be going straight into Maine, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't think there's any Cracker Barrels in Canada.
I don't think so. No, so we'd be going straight to Maine, probably to South Portland, and sitting down at that Cracker Barrel. And
it'd be a fight over Cracker Barrel or Taco Bell first.
Yeah. Not much of a fight because we're going to Cracker Barrel.
It'd be a quick fight.
But the boys are very excited about Taco Bell. And what's the buffet we love?
Golden Corral.
Golden Corral, which is like, I feel like there's like 17 tables, 17 big setups of food, and you can get literally anything.
Yeah, Golden Corral's huge.
It's amazing. And what's the pizza place you like? The pizza buffet.
CC's Pizza, but I don't know if that's anywhere.
It's in North Carolina.
It was in North Carolina, but
so
I don't
we'll
know
end up in North Carolina. It's gonna be fun when we get down in the U.S. I'm really excited about that. So, here's my advice corner. I know it's January, so this will be out on what, the
January 8th, yeah.
8th of January. So you're probably 8 days into breaking a resolution by now, I would imagine.
You're working on breaking it.
Working on your first broken resolution. So I'm going to make a suggestion to people that you aim for February 1st. I'll start over in February. I think that will be my advice. And so if you're into, feeling good, here's my little tidbit. Go buy a notebook and a pen and start a journal.
Start journaling.
I read a book a few years back. It was called The Artist's Way by Julie. I don't know if it's Julie or Julia Cameron.
I think it's Julia Cameron.
She's friggin' brilliant, and she's got a bunch of books out, but The Artist's Way changed my life. And so the main thing in that, the whole thread throughout pretty much all of her books, is she used to teach these courses, I think, and I don't know why we're talking about New York so much this evening, but she was teaching these workshops to artists who were stuck and trying to figure out what to do next. And so she was teaching these courses in person, and then one of her friends said, you should make a book out of this. Like, you should write down what you teach in these workshops. And so that's where The Artist's Way was. It's been translated into a whole bunch of languages. There's workbooks you can get to go along with it. There's ways to do groups, The Artist's Way as a group, and hold each other accountable for however many weeks, and that's all really great stuff. But the crux of it is that you're writing a journal, that you get up every single day and write 3 pages free and with a pen, not typing. It's with an actual writing instrument where your hand is moving across the page. And it can be, this is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. Oh my God, Are You Mad at Me podcast is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Or that Vickie Morgan, man, what a moron. I can't believe I'm doing this. Write that 100 times, however many times on the
Smart and pretty. How does she do it?
Anyway, that'll be my suggestion for February. And there's lots of time. There's weeks before that even starts. And let me know how you're doing with your journaling, because that, for me was the biggest. I mean, aside from therapy and aside from CBD oil and walking and meditating and all those other things, writing has been the best thing for me to so it's not that you're planning on writing a play. It's really the journaling and getting it all out on paper. And
get it out of your head.
Yeah, keep it in a safe space. Assume no one's going to read it. And also so I would definitely recommend picking up that book if you're out and about. Pick up, and of course, a couple of other books you might want to pick up is For the Grace of Joe and How to Fail at Documentary Filmmaking. I'm just saying if you're looking for new books to read. But Julia Cameron talks a lot about this, how it unsticks, and everybody's an artist. And a lot of times, after you write you get kind of in that groove of planning your day. You start your day not at the end of the night because you can't do anything about what your intention is for the day by the time you're going to bed. So start your day with writing in a journal. And it doesn't need to be a fancy journal. It's nice if it is a nice journal and a nice pen, but feels just good. A notebook and just an old pen that feels comfortable in your hand, that you're not concentrating on the pen is, skipping or messy or whatever. Like, get something that you can comfortably write with for a few pages, and even treat yourself to a nice pen. But anyway, that's my advice for February, is to start in February. Plan for February.
That would be a better, it seems like February would be a better time to start stuff anyway, because you could be like, I'm just going to do it for a month and see how it goes, and it's the shortest month of the year.
It's the shortest month, that's true.
And
that's
then be
really
like,
true.
it's just this month. It's just this, and then, once you're 28 days into it, it's like, all right, this wasn't so bad, I'll keep it going.
28 days, ironically, is about how long it takes to start a new habit. So I remember reading On Writing for many years ago. Stephen King wrote it. It was one of the, what do you call it? Like, it wasn't an autobiography, but it was...
I guess it's sort of like a memoir.
Yeah. So in the book On Writing, Stephen King talked about how he wrote every day. And I was like, oh, well, that's why he's Stephen King, and that's why I'm me. Because I could never do that. And I have stacks and stacks and stacks of notebooks now. I started, at first it was like, and I would write, this is the stupidest thing, Julia Cameron's an idiot, I can't believe I'm doing this is so stupid, but it really works. It really, really works. And of course, I don't want to give all the tricks of the book away, but the idea is that you do it consistently every single day, but you don't look back at what you wrote for the first 8 weeks. And then in the last few. But anyway, it's worth, I don't know, pick it up in the library, get it used, find it on eBay, download it. I think the ebook version is pretty cheap, or borrow it. Yeah, it's worth it. It really was. So that's my advice for the new year. If anybody is feeling advice. Like, what can I? It was a big help to me for mental health and for just the creative part of it, because Julia Cameron said when she started writing the book, she started journaling every day, and she's written hundreds of.
And you could just start journaling without the writer's way, but I think it's nice to have like some kind of a
structure. What's
the word? Like accountability. Yeah. Like, so it's like, all right, I'm trying to do this every day and trying to do 3 pages. Like, it gives you something to focus on, like a number. Like,
and I'm a big proponent of creative work for mental health. For good mental health and well-being, because I think that is one of those things that keeps people's hands and minds busy. And when those things are busy, you don't really have time to. It occupies your brain, so you're not able to ruminate over all the things. And I'm reminded, of course, this is what Nate talks about a lot on his podcast. Not about the creative part of it. He talks about he wants his podcast to be a refuge from your daily experience, and it's just a goofy thing that they do for an hour and a half every Wednesday or whatever. And I look forward to it, and I'm glad I've got a backlog of them, because that's going to get me probably through your semester. That's
true. School.
You got a new semester starting this week, hey? How you feeling about that?
Good. The last few semesters have been, a semester of school always starts off like, oh, so overwhelming. But by the end of it, especially I think with this program, it's been pretty like, we get lots of time to do stuff, and the stuff that we're doing is fun and creative. And so you kind of want to, last semester was like making stickers and
you made all kinds of
screen printing. And
it was a lot of fun. Lots of fun homework coming home.
So this is my last semester before my work term, and then I'm like,
it seems like it happened
dunzo.
Fast. Do you feel like it happened fast?
Yeah, I mean, it's
no, you're in the trenches.
Well,
no, it's not
there
fast
was
for
a
you.
year, like, I went back to school almost 3 years ago, because I started with the film and TV program, because they started a new film and TV program here in town, and with our background in documentary filmmaking, it was like, oh, well, maybe we could
a lot of acting
expand
classes
our
at first.
Yeah, it was like acting and writing and producing and directing and like the whole shebang. And it was a pretty new program, and I didn't fit very well I just was, yeah. So one of the instructors that was heading the program up and got it started and everything had been a graphic design instructor at the same school. So when I told him that I was thinking about just being done, he was like, you should check out graphic design. So I ended up moving. So it has actually been, this will be my 3rd year at the same school.
Mm-hmm.
So it does seem like it's, how's it going over there, maybe? just nuzzling right up to the microphone.
She has something to say, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the graphic design program has been absolutely perfect fit for you because it's you definitely had a big strong basis when you started, but it was you've been learning lots of new stuff to complement with an E, complement all your skills, and it's been really great. And you've definitely expanded what you're able to do, and you do fantastic work. You're doing all of our graphic design and posters, and for our shows, and for our the new project in the new year is we're going to beef up our Pinterest. I'm hearing that that's a good way to reach strangers. I'm going to try my luck with strangers in the new year.
Yeah.
I'm going to build on the positive feedback that I've gotten over the last number of years about the creative stuff we've been doing, and I'm going to build on that and hopefully share with a whole new audience of people. Because my idea, there's always going to be people who don't like what you're doing, and that's okay. That's why we have a segment in the show called "Are You Mad at Me?" And I'll get to that in a minute. But there's been an awful lot. There's been a lot of people too who have come up to us at our shows, whether it was a comedy show or a music show or different things we've done, where they, we've connected with people. And I feel like we are living in a little tiny space here, and I don't know, the internet now has this ability to connect us with the whole place, with the whole world. So I'm going to try my luck with strangers. That's my mantra for 2025, is I'm going to try my luck. And I've been following a lot of great people on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff who are sharing their art, and I've been trying to do that unapologetically.
That's good.
Which is a new thing for me.
It can be hard.
Yeah, it was. But like, and I didn't do like every single day. I sat down and scheduled 12. I did the 12 days of Christmas, but I did 12 days of jokes on my writing page, and I did 12 days of music on our Ballpark Creek page. And so so this is a little update, and I'm just sharing this with the listeners. So this is one of those things where like, I had no idea that was going on. Like, well, there you go. It was on the podcast. I put it out to the universe. But someone commented on we posted a live version of Jimmy Glenn. Yep. On the Mulberry Creek page.
O'Reilly's.
No, it was actually from Theater Hill. From Theater Hill.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, at the Old Majestic, and someone commented on there and said, "This is heartbreaking. Come home, Jimmy." Of course, his name is not Jimmy. I did change his name because he's very, very private and would lose his mind if I actually put his full first and middle names on the internet. Yeah. But anyway, there is a rumor. Now. I'm only hearing it from third and fourth hand information, but there's a rumor that he's doing well and might very possibly consider moving back to Newfoundland.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's exciting.
It is very exciting. And so I'm glad that back to us, let's bring it back to me. We did share, and it was hard. It was very hard. And there was a few moments where I was like, okay, I'm going to change the privacy on this one. And
turning this off.
And then I did this big brain dump where I posted, and I did it for myself. I wanted to hear it myself, but I did a big long post about if you're afraid to share your work on social media because you're afraid people are sick of hearing from you or tired of hearing from you, here's some advice. Like, don't listen to the people that aren't in the arena bleeding next to you. There's a whole bunch of stormtroopers out there. Somebody said, yeah, stormtrooper. And I meant stormtroopers in the sense that there's lots of mindless, faceless people out there who don't do anything brave or vulnerable, and they just criticize other people. And that's what I mean by stormtroopers. And they can't shoot. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a shovel. Because in Star Wars, they would go pew, pew, pew.
Stormtrooper aim.
Yeah, and they would never, and I know that you guys taught me that from Fortnite. That some people, there's NPCs, non-playing characters who have terrible aim. So there are people out there who are pretty quick to criticize what you're doing, and you just got to kind of put this checklist up against that when you get that kind of feedback. Is like, are these people being brave with their lives? And if they're not, the advice is don't listen.
That's funny. I'm on a group on Facebook for Cakewalk users. It's just a audio. A program that I use. It's just a free music recording program. Anyway, there's a great community, and lots of people will go on there and be like, they'll ask really technical questions about, EQing and sidechaining and effects, and it's like, oh boy, that's tough stuff. And then some people will get on there and be like, I don't know how to record an audio track, and it'll be like, well, you arm the track and you press record, and it's like, oh yeah, sure. So it's a real range of like support, like for beginners or for people that use it all the time. Anyway, this guy got on there the other day and asked a real simple question, and he even said he was new to the program, and people were answering him and giving him ideas and tips and stuff. And one guy gets on there and goes, "You're obviously not ready." And I think he might have said, he didn't say give up, but it was like, "You're obviously not ready. You shouldn't be here," or something like that. And it was like, "Oh, okay, slow down." And so I put a comment on there, and I was like, "All right, so don't listen to this guy. Like, you should definitely jump right in and mess up and screw up and ask lots of questions." But it was like, there was somebody that's right there ready to be like, just stop, just give up. And it's like, what are you doing with your life, bud?
That's a whole that's a whole different set of people. That's not the people who aren't being brave. That's folks who are very technically tech savvy and are gatekeepers. And
gatekeepers are, that's rough.
Who will
that's
say, if you can't do it perfectly from the gate, you shouldn't do it at all. And that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. There's only one way. Like, making mistakes is where we learn most of our stuff.
Right?
So, and that's the stuff. I mean, how many times have you gone to a shoot and your batteries died, or you didn't bring extra batteries, or you didn't bring a cord?
Yeah, you learn pretty quick. Yeah.
You'll learn very, very quickly not to do that thing. Now, hopefully it's not like a high stakes thing where it happens. And even if it is, like, it'll only happen once. But that's the stuff that you learn.
We shot a movie when we were acting in a movie when we first moved back to Newfoundland, and the audio guy brought one audio recorder and it didn't have any batteries or something like that. Or it didn't have a memory card or something. It was batteries.
So we had to plug in somebody's truck and put. They happened to have a AC power, and we had to wait for the charger.
And I bet that guy never ever forgot that.
I certainly never forgot it because it was so embarrassing for him to watch him go through that. Yeah. But like anything we've done, like we're sitting through an interview that you haven't pressed record on the camera. That happens once. That'll never. Like, I went to an interview years ago with Alan Doyle, and I was so excited to be there, and I was going to do a 3-camera shoot. And when I got there, I only brought 2 cameras, and when I turned them on, the battery was dead in one of them. So I ended up with a 1-camera shoot in this oblong room. And so they're trying to go, sorry, I don't have a 2-shot here. And and so Alan
what
goes,
we would normally do.
Alan goes, that's okay. I'll just turn and talk to the camera every now and then. And I was like, well, you're not a politician. He was great. And we did have to like talk back to the camera, but it was like a long room. And the camera was basically over his shoulder. So we had to like cheat out to anyway, it'll never happen again. I'll never ever go to another shoot where I don't check all the batteries.
We have a shoot tomorrow. So after this podcast, I'm going to get all of our gear together and make sure we have memory cards and batteries. And
something else I'll never do again is go to a gig when I haven't researched the people that we're working with. That'll only happen in your life one time. So years ago, I guess we've been here for 5 or 6. We've been back in Newfoundland for 5 or 6 years. And just after we got back home, there was this lady who got in touch. Have I told this on the podcast already?
I don't think so.
So there was this lady who got in touch, and she said she wanted me to make a documentary about this particular strain of cancer. And I was like, okay.
Oh, we did talk about this.
Did we already talk about this?
Right. That's okay.
Well, I don't want to go over it again. But anyway, research before you get to the people's houses.
Yeah.
That's the
do some.
So, but again,
do some Googling.
That'll never ever happen again because I get into this situation where it's like, you probably know who this person was. Like, I didn't do my research. Long story short, I didn't do my research, and I got into this apartment in this meeting with the person who had reached out to me was wonderful. And she was a cancer survivor. She was going through treatments. But she left me there with these people who were just involved and cared about the cause and were literally murderers.
Criminals. Yeah.
Like one woman got acquitted with an insanity plea. So here I am going, okay, how do I get back out of here?
And that was when our kids were pretty little, so I just dropped you off at the house.
And not to mention, but they like, so it was the longest apartment I've ever been in my life. It was like down a hall, corner, down a hall, down a hall, down a hall, down a hall. And so there was no back door for some reason. It was just, you're just on, like, it was like going through a prison, when the gates close behind you. And then for some reason, when I was getting up to go, I was like, oh, my husband's outside. I should probably go. And they like corner me and go, our doctors won't prescribe any more of our antipsychotics. They won't see us anymore because, I don't know. They wouldn't explain why the doctor wouldn't see him, but they were like, do you know where we can get some No, I don't.
Sorry, can I go now?
Anyway, sorry if you've heard that story before, but again, it bears repeating. Research before you go, especially if you're 5'1" and didn't bring your machete or your AR-15, because you never know what you're going to have to fight your way out of. But anyway, it was gross, and so I'll never do that again.
So yeah, we learn as we go. So that's a good thing.
Yes, and I'm glad you jumped up on the Cakewalk site there and stood up for that guy. And I was cringing, going, "Oh my God, he's going to start a big fight on the internet." But the guy came back and he was very
we made a joke out of
it.
Yeah, the guy was like, "All right."
He laughed it off, and probably
I think I said, "Go ahead and jump in. Don't worry about making mistakes." And I think the guy wrote back and said, "It's a good thing you're not a skydiving instructor." And I said, "Yeah, the stakes are pretty low here, so we're good."
Yeah. It's creative work, right?
It's just fun stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and laying a few tracks down. Like, who knows what that person's going to end up doing?
Right.
Because they might lay a track, and maybe he doesn't know how. Maybe his expertise is not in recording, but maybe he's writing a brilliant song, and that's how he gets his demo out to somebody.
Yeah.
So there's value in these things, and you don't have to get it perfect. And the perfectionism, wait until you get exactly the right thing at exactly the right time. That'll kill you.
You'll never do it.
It'll kill you. Like, you'll eat yourself alive, and you don't get to enjoy the process. And part of it is getting better at stuff. And so, on that note, I will share that I'm going to, while you're in this semester of school, my intention is to do some more sewing. And so I tried a whole semester of patterns, which was really fun, but I ended up making the same Oxford shirt 7 times and still haven't got one that fits me quite the way I want it. And so my intention for while you're doing this last semester of school is that I'm going to research as though I'm taking classes.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And give myself assignments and not deadlines, but projects to complete by the end of the semester. And so one of the things I want to do is alter. I want to alter some clothes. Because this is like, so we went into the mall yesterday, and we went into Forever 21, which is, it's a store built for people who have never born children or hit puberty, apparently. So if you have a hip span of a regular sized woman, you're going to feel pretty bad putting on that clothes, and you might get even trapped in some of it in a waiting room, and there'll be people banging on the door saying the bus is coming, and it's very embarrassing. But anyway, but I figured out, here's something that I can fight myself and say, your body is wrong in some way, like you're this, or you're old, or you're whatever. And I figured out that there's a beautiful thing called alterations. So there are, every now and then, I'll find clothing that fits me the way I want it to fit. So like looking back at the 12 Days of Jokes, I was very nervous, and so I was wearing outfits I was thinking more about my outfit than I was about the actual material. And you can tell, because I was I'd practice and stuff, but looking back at the videos, it's like, why did I wear that shirt? Like, because I was nervous and I didn't dress comfortably. Yeah. And there's a couple of gigs that I was very comfortable, and you can tell the difference in the delivery and performance.
You felt better.
I felt better when I was comfortable, and it wasn't like attractive clothes, it was comfortable clothes. Because women's bodies, I don't know if you know this, I don't mean to break your imagining, how it's going to be for the rest of your life, but women's bodies change, and some of those changes involve widening, like after you have a child, like after you actually grow a human being in your body, some things don't go back to the way they were before, and you're left with like little pouches and little blobs and little what do you call them, stretch marks and things like that. And so it's, what's a funny thing? So I'm gonna link this. I'm gonna segue right into our "Are You Mad at Me" segment, because I think this is kind of relevant.
Good.
So my plan is I'm gonna try to find one of those dress forms like that actually is the shape of me, and I might need to put some silly putty in places and stuff to make it actually, because it's not the hourglass figure that we would have worked with when I was 20. But there are some blobs in places, and I need to alter the clothes to fit that. Why would I can work out and beat myself up over, I should fit into this pair of jeans, but like, why don't I just alter the jeans so they fit my body and I can enjoy my life?
Right.
So that's my plan, and I'll be sharing little TikToks and all that stuff along the way as I find clothes. But over the summer,
I just opened up Facebook Marketplace, and there's several dress forms on here, so let's make that happen.
So there are like alteration kits you can get with those that you can actually put, because not everybody is shaped with like an inch, this inches and this inches and this inches. Sometimes it's like this inches, this inches, this inches, and then whatever.
Everybody's different.
You got small ankles.
Yeah.
But it's about putting on clothes that you feel good in. It doesn't mean you fit into a certain size. It's like I've actually bought some at a secondhand store last year, I bought some pregnancy clothes because there was this little ruching on the side that made room for your belly. And it didn't feel bad. It wasn't like trying to cut the circulation off to my to my legs. It was comfortable around the belly. And I was like, well, this is for pregnant women. Like, well, if it fits, put it on.
Didn't Joey use pregnancy pants? Or was that, that was Phoebe in Friends.
Phoebe.
She wore pregnancy pants.
And Joey wore them for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. So over the summer, I wanted to do an Oxford shirt, that like the boyfriend cut shirt from Old Navy, or
like a button-up long sleeve shirt.
Yeah, and so the ones from Old Navy used to be super nice, and they were made with really soft cotton. And I wanted to know how to make those because I want to make them in every color possible.
And you can go to the store and pick out your own fabric and make whatever you want. Yeah.
And I thought, how hard can it be? So the first one I made for you, it came out absolutely fantastic.
Perfect, I love it.
I have no idea how I did the arms. I had no idea what I was doing.
It works for me because it's really hard for me to find shirts with sleeves long enough that aren't like. Don't have a gigantic torso, like if it's so
you needed
it was
something
really great that I have a
tailored.
shirt that fits me and has long enough sleeves, and I love it.
So the first shirt I made went beautifully. I made the arms longer, fit to your specifications. It was a Western shirt, it has snaps. We just loved it. We were so excited about it. I couldn't believe how easily it all went together. And I was like, I'm going to make one for me. So the first mistake was I used the men's pattern for me.
For your shirt.
Yeah. And then I tried a women's pattern, and that was worse because it was meant for hourglass figures, and I don't have one of those. So I went back to the men's setting, and I still haven't figured that out. And so I ended up making the shirt 7 times. No exaggeration.
That's a great example of jumping in and doing the thing.
And I don't like that.
And it's hard.
I don't like making mistakes. I don't like putting all that work in and having something that I can't even wear at the end of it. Yeah. So during one of those failed projects, I was not just stressed from the project. It was just a busy summer and whatever was going on. I don't even remember. But I was sometimes sewing just to have my hands busy. And so there was one particular night where it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had just finished the frame of the shirt, and it fit nice, but it didn't have any buttons on it, didn't have a collar. And I was just like, hey, Josh, what do you think of this shirt? And I always get Josh to take a picture so I can see what it looks like because I don't have a dress for him to put it on. And so Josh snapped a picture, and the shirt didn't have any buttons on it, and it showed like the V part between like my collarbones right here where the the little clavicles are right here, down to my belly button. So you could see like my stretch marks and my little pouchy belly and all that stuff. And it was like, and you could see how messy my living room was in the background. And Josh took the picture, and I just shared it on Facebook. And I said, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. This is the 7th time with this shirt. I'm so frustrated, but I don't even care. And so the picture was just natural. Like you couldn't see anything.
And it was a lot less revealing than some bathing suits. Like you see at a
I was covered to my wrists and all the way to my ankles because I had on pants, and the shirt covered every bit of me, but there was a strip in between. There was no nipples. You couldn't see a breast. There was just the strip of skin in between my breasts and down to my belly button. And within that area, you could see that I had like a little, I've had 3 children, and I'm not carrying baby weight because the kids are 11 and 14, but like I'm still like your body can only come back to, it's not going to all snap back. And I'm 47, so there's, nature takes its course. And
for those of you that are just listening and not watching, Vickie looks fantastic.
Oh my, okay. So you don't need to say that. I'm not digging for compliments.
No, but I mean it. I'm saying it.
See, you're awesome. Thank you very much. But for me, it was a big deal for me to snap a picture and post it online because it was like, here's me in all my glory. It's not photoshopped. It's like a natural. I'm stressed on it. My hair was everywhere. And I was working on a shirt. It was about the shirt.
You were making something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where we segue into, are you mad at me? Because we went to visit my parents. And my mother said, I heard about that picture you posted. Now, my mother's not on Facebook. This is a very important detail. This is not the first time that I've gone to visit my parents and have been, had this thing like this, not a confrontation, but like my parents aren't on Facebook. So they hear about it and it's like, they think it's just this cesspool of, of debauchery and whatever. And it's like, no, boys, it's just recipes and, vacation pictures and stuff. And like, I put stuff on there a lot about, I'm having a rough mental health day. If you need a hug, here's a hug. And then people come back and say, you're nice. And, here's a hug back for you. It's a really nice place. So I posted this thing, and a bunch of people responded to it, and it was really nice. And people were like, "You're so brave," which is not what you want to hear when you post a picture of your belly button.
Oh, I can't believe how brave you are.
You're so brave, which is what that really means, and that's okay, because I know there were people who said. One woman said, "Oh my God, you got my titties," and it was like, she's a mom, she's had kids. Like, if I made that woman feel better about her body, my job is done. My work is done here. But anyway, I walk into my parents' house, and my mom is like. She hasn't seen the picture, but from the sounds of it, someone saw the picture on Facebook and was showing other relatives who in turn called my mother and said, Vickie's posting vulgar pictures on Facebook.
How old
I'm going
to
share it on here. I'm sorry, this was this summer. I was 46 and a half. I am going to share the picture on, can you put this into the editors? Can you guys put this into the, it's worth sharing because I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So my mother is like horrified because she hasn't seen the picture, but what she's hearing from people, she's getting phone calls saying, Vickie is showing more than you'd see at the beach on a woman in a bikini. What bikini covers you to your wrists and your ankles? I mean, come on.
It's an Amish bikini.
I don't know if they were just horrified that I'm so out of shape, or I don't know what it was, but it was pretty bad. So it turns out that it was one of my cousins that saw the picture and was showing it to, not only was he whatever he felt about it, and I mean whatever, I'm not going to get into that because that's kind of weird, but he was showing it to other people and saying, can you believe Vickie posted this? And I was like, okay, so that's
slow news day.
So, well, I mean, really, right? And that's kind of that's why I want to share that, because I know I'm pissing people off. It's what I do. It's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to move this mic just to distract myself here and give my hand something to be doing, because this is kind of nerve-wracking. But I'm okay pissing some people off. If you're pissed off because I posted a picture of my own body, it is mine.
Get a hobby.
And it wasn't like, if it's so bad, report it to Facebook. Oh, you can't because it was a belly button? Good Lord. And you couldn't even see it, to be fair. You can't see my belly button because it's all folded in with all the belly, all the mom, goo that's there. But anyway.
Mom goo.
But like, seriously, I'm healthy. I take care of my kids. I'm doing the thing. I'm being creative and sharing myself. And part of the vulnerability is, this is what I look like. And I know I made at least 3 people feel a little bit better about themselves, because they were like, my body looks like that too.
Yep.
So for that cousin who was showing other relatives, who in turn called my mother, you're not going to be able to see anything else on my Facebook because I did block you.
So and they're probably not even going to listen to the podcast.
Yeah, but they're listening because there's a few people that are listening, and that's okay, because there's enough people that connect with what we're doing and like what we're doing. It makes it worth it. And if you lose a few along the way, that's okay. And so I know we're asking, are you mad at me? And for that one cousin, I don't care if you're mad at me.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, get a life.
Are you mad at me?
I don't know. Are you mad at me? I think that's a really great name for this podcast, because that is we did, and the reason I'd say that is we probably did make a few people mad with the 12 days of jokes. This is what I'm figuring out. There's a few like reactions and things, and a few like silences that we've been dealing with over the Christmas holidays. Like, I think they might have seen the jokes I posted. And creatively speaking, I didn't use real names. I changed details so you can't be identified. And this is what I do now.
And if people wanted to be talked about more kindly, they should have been nicer to you in the first place. Is that it?
Yeah, that's the line. So that goes back to what he's referencing there. And you can see there's a little twinkle in his eye there, because he knows that's straight. That's the stake of holly through my heart. That gets right to the core of me. That was said to me when Garden Party, the first song we put out with Mulberry Creek. My brilliant producer said that to me, because I was nervous about putting it out, and I said, what if people who are in this song or referenced in the song, what if they're upset? And he believed in the song and believed in me, and he said, I think you're at a point in your life, we're at a point in our lives where if people want to be talked about or talk, like the stories that are being told about them, they should maybe be more mindful of how they are to people. And so Garden Party has a lot of swear words in it, and it's, as far as like listening to your own songs, there are points in our lives where something will be going on, and I'll think, there'll be a line in my head, and like, oh, I already recorded that line. I already wrote that.
That's for
and
my
it's
song.
like, it helps me. to like, oh, this is not the first time I have felt this way. And everybody's families are like, this is not an attack on anybody's childhood or family or upbringing or anything else. It's really like everybody goes through this stuff.
Yep.
It's the connection. It's the universal stories that connect people. And like, I'm not the only person, so I'm not out to attack anybody or like, oh, I got to get back at that cousin. You're never going to meet my cousin, but I guarantee you, so I don't mean to be like, I guarantee you, I sound like an old person. I would guess that there are people out there who are going to go, yep, I got a relative like that too.
Yeah.
Busybody, nothing better to do, a prude, or whatever. Like whatever it is. And it's not even a prude thing. It's like, get a life.
Get a hobby.
This was a cousin I loved, who I thought loved me. And that's what he was saying. Like, that's what he was doing. Like, oh my God. It was heartbreaking. And so I'm really glad that I have hobbies and things, creative pursuits and podcasts to do and all those things. And, your friends are happy for you. You got to look for the people who are cheering you on. Look for the people who are clapping when things are going well. I know there are people who just live for drama and, the next trauma, the next dramatic story to jump on and, oh my God, shocking, what's going on. I don't know. I just don't.
Surround yourself with people that are supportive and encouraging, and
look for the people who are clapping when things are going well for you.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, because you can focus on the people that are mad or who cares? Good God, move on. Like,
that's right.
Move on and do the name. And I've got a good friend, Jody, who says, turn your pain into art. And that's brilliant words from Jody, because she's a brilliant artist. Go check out her Facebook page. It's called Make a Scene Artwork. SCENE. She's brilliant. And she does all kinds of stuff. She does multimedia art.
We got a couple of her pieces of art hanging in our house.
We've got a brilliant painting of Ron Hines that she did on our hall. So I see it every morning as I'm coming down over the stairs to start my day. And it's like a nice little reminder that, and Jody, not classically trained, taught herself.
Amazing.
So when I say not classically trained, I mean, she didn't go to art school. And her stuff is brilliant. Yeah. It's from the heart. Like, she's amazing. But also, like, I love those little nuggets from people who give you a little nudge along the way. And you're not going to find any one person, I don't think, that's your guru, that has all the answers. But it's kind of fun to open yourself up, and like a little nugget will come in here through this little thing, or Facebook feed will come up, or you'll find a podcast at the right time, or you'll find a dime on the road, or you'll find a sale going on over at Forever 21, and you'll find a bunch of dresses 80% off. I literally bought dresses for $3.
You were just talking about how the sizes made you feel bad while you were in there, but you found stuff that you liked.
But the colors were really nice, and so I.
That's when you were talking about alterations, right?
So I took it home, and the framework is there. So with a little bit of alteration, I think I can make it fit me in the places that it doesn't fit right now, because I want to be able to wear nice. Like, I want to wear stuff that feels good. That I feel good when I put it on, and I'm excited to see it in my closet. And that doesn't mean I don't need fancy things. I want stuff that feels good.
That's right.
Right?
That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And because when you feel good, and I can look back through those videos that we posted, and I can tell you, you can probably tell too. You can see when I'm comfortable.
Yeah. And
that's when people are coming up after the shows and saying, this was really fun. I have a story like that too, or like that song really meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And it's when I'm comfortable and able to share, that's the key.
You're making
and so
connections.
I feel like I got to that space because I started taking care of myself and putting myself first. Self-care, not selfish, it's self-care. And so journaling and meditating and doing those things and podcasting with my husband because he's amazing.
Yay.
And in case you're wondering, that picture that was so offensive to my family, to my relatives, some of my relatives, very few, because there was a lot of them who patted me on the back and said it was awesome. But my husband took that picture, and that was kind of what I was saying to my mom as well, who is struggling with these things because she's not on Facebook, and she's, I think, struggling a little bit with these creative things that I do because she doesn't totally understand why I'm doing it and why this keeps me healthy to be doing creative things. And I'm not out to hurt anybody. I'm out to make myself better, because when I'm happy, I'm a better wife, I'm a better mom, I'm a better friend, a better daughter.
Well, it's just like Blaine was saying too. Like, did you know that it's been almost an hour and 20 minutes that we've been down here talking? Timeless. Because
I don't know what it feels like for somebody to listen to it, but I would like to think,
no, it feels like an hour and 20 minutes.
And you're free to leave anytime you want to go over and listen to Nateland for a little while, but
come back.
That's what I do for mine. But this is the thing, like doing those things that take you away. and make you forget about whatever you're worried about that day, because that is a life stealer. That's the And go watch Ted Lasso. I'm a big fan of that.
It's so positive and good, and
it
just
really
happy.
is really sweet.
There's been a couple scenes, no spoilers, but I've been like almost at tears.
Oh, not even almost. I'm afraid to look at you because it's like, this is ridiculous. I'm crying.
I mean, I'm a crier anyway.
Me too.
But it's so like holy,
so
moly,
wholesome and sweet. It's so sweet. It really is. Like it's a great thing, and I'm really glad to like be finding these things when I need them. And so this is one of those like not relationship tests, but your frequency. It's a test your frequency. Like when you think about what song would I like to hear right now, or what show would I like to watch, a lot of times the things that you pick to watch are on your frequency, and it's a good way to check in with yourself and go, maybe I am a little murderous right now, or a little revengeful. Like if I want to watch Law and Order SVU, that tells me what frame of mind I'm in. I want to watch Mariska Hargitay and Elliot Stabler. And I'm old school with SVU. I loved Elliot Stabler.
Yeah.
And
he came back.
Earlier today I had an NYPD hat on, and someone goes, how long did you work with the NYPD? And I let it hang there for just a second. And I was like, it's just a hat. But it's like, but depending on the show, like sometimes I want to watch Dawson's Creek. Sometimes I want to watch.
My Spotify suggestions are all over the place. Because it's like sometimes it's heavy metal, sometimes it's bluegrass, sometimes it's folk, and sometimes it's Cake from the 90s. And it's all over the place.
And sometimes it's hardcore stuff, like punk music, and it's like, well, who did I marry? You don't listen to that around me. That's like, there's a mood that you go into sometimes. That's like, or like we'd get in the car sometimes and be like, what is that he had?
What were you listening to?
But you can tell a lot by your frequency, and you actually do have a lot of control over your frequency. Believe it or not. I feel like I spent most of my life feeling like I'm a victim of my feelings, but I'm not. So a little check-in, and you get this a lot from journaling, as you're writing down your feelings and you're going, man, I say this crap every day. Eventually you go, that's enough of this crap. I'm not going to stress and lose my day because of this thing that's bothering me. I'm going to change. I'm going to do something different, or I'm going to change this thing. And that's what the journaling does. It's you get tired of listening to yourself complain.
And I feel like if you're looking at, like, when you get to the point where you're looking back on the stuff you've been writing, it's like reading about somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and it's a lot easier to not diagnose, but like help another person. Like, yeah, you're going through this, so it would make sense if you would focus on this or change to do this or whatever. It's like when you can look at, it's like reading a book. Like you can always, you're always, when you're reading a book, you're there going, why is he going in there? What is it? Why is he doing? But it's like, yeah, you can do that for yourself if you're reading your journal.
So I feel like that happened with when I was doing the script for How to Fail at Documentary Filmmaking, when it was a TV show. Writing that script, it was pretty true to life. And I felt like even writing that script was like, why does this character keep going back to this well that never
you could see the character doing
stuff? It was
stuff.
like, I was just recording the story. And it was like, why does she keep going back? And I felt like the audience is not going to believe this. They're going to be so frustrated with this character that I was writing about. Like, there's no way anyone's going to believe that she did it that many times, or was surprised when it was disappointing. Or, like, how long can she stay in bed with the covers pulled over her head over the same exact story over and over? And it was, the details were different, but it was the same, like, that's the sign of, what's that word? Anyway, when you keep doing the same thing, getting the same results, and you keep
That's
doing
the definition of insanity.
That's the definition of insanity. So I'm looking at this show, and so what I got from writing that show was like, oh, wow, that's insanity. I have to start doing something different if I want to feel better, because this thing is not going to work out the way I want it to.
So TV show, like, the TV show, you might look at it as like it wasn't a success, but like how much more successful could it have been if you were able to put down your thoughts and feelings and actions and look back on in retrospect and see and change your own life? Like, that's how much more successful could it have been?
Well, this is almost embarrassing because I wrote the script, it got rejected, it became a book, and chapter version, or what do you call it, like second part of the book, she did it again. She did it again. She sent the book to the person that was over and over and over again in the movie and in the script and in the book. Like, you went back again and were disappointed because you sent him a copy of the book and he didn't even acknowledge it. Like, of course he didn't. This is, why would there be different behavior if it's never happened for you? Like, what's going to be different? You're not different. That person's not different. It's the same thing. So
that'll be in the next book.
Start singing a different song. Start doing something different. And it's like, but when you see it, when you put it out there like that, because if I hid all that and built, buried it down deep and like, oh, there's an ulcer. Oh, there's a whatever knee flaring up, or oh, there's a skin breaking down. Like, yeah, of course it is, because your body is saying, Vickie, that's enough.
Take it easy.
Do something different, man. Do something different. This isn't feeling good. Like, try a different thing that feels better. And you do have a choice. I know that sometimes you get locked into those trolley tracks and you're like, no, this is how I feel. This is it. But you do have a choice. And so one of the ways that I find checking in with the journaling, but it's you'll say, what do you want to watch tonight? And it'll be like, oh, SVU. Or I want to watch Timothy Oliphant in Justified, which I highly recommend. That's good for good moods and bad moods. It's good for anything that ails you. But there's shows like that, like if I want to watch a comedy, sometimes when you put a comedy on, it's like, turn this off. Oh,
not in the mood.
Not in the mood. That's how you know. And you can check in with yourself and go, do I want to feel better than this? Like, do I want to be snapping at the TV or at my family or the dogs or myself, or like glaring at myself in the mirror? It's just an experiment. This is my test. I'm going to put this out there. This is your homework. If you're listening to Are You Mad at Me and you've got this far with us, here's your homework. Watch the difference when you look in the mirror tomorrow morning. Before you look in the mirror, just first look in the mirror and see what you see. Then walk away from the mirror for a second and say, I'm such a good person. There are so many people who benefit from my existence. I'm a good person and I've got so much to offer. And it's such a good thing that I'm here at this time, on this planet, right now, in this body, in this life. It's so great that I'm here. Go back and look in the mirror again. And see if the lines on your face haven't faded a little bit, where your teeth are a little brighter, your nose is a little smaller, if you wanted your nose to be smaller. You're like, the things that you noticed, your hair is not as frizzy, or your hair isn't as going back as far, your hairline is like, just notice how your own reflection looks different when you say something kind to yourself. Yeah. It's just, you can change. Like, things, it's a brand new year. It's the same old you, and that's a good thing, because you can, like, if you're still here, that means you get another chance.
That's right.
So
that's fantastic.
That's what I got. Are you mad at me? I don't even care. I don't. It's fine. It's good to be mad. It's a good emotion. And then we're going to move on from, you know what? Maybe she's kind of funny. Or maybe I could do what she's doing. Or maybe I can make my own podcast and go after her. I don't care.
Go after her.
Go whatever. Let's have it. Listen, I'm not scared. My father got chains. So...
Anyway. I think it's going to be a good 2025.
We're off to a rip-roaring start, and I'm excited about it. And I'm excited about all the projects we're going to do, and not because we're going to have products or anything at the end of it, but because it's going to feel good to do it. Yep. And I'm excited about the next book, and the next book, and the next book, and the next play, and the dessert theater, and let me know how that goes. Try looking in the mirror. Do it twice. Look in the mirror first with how you are right now, and then walk away and say some good stuff to yourself. And you don't have to share it if you don't want to, but I would definitely love to hear from people who took the extra look in the mirror after you said something nice to yourself, about how lucky we are that you're here, that you're here, that we're sharing oxygen, that we get to take another day and maybe do something a little bit different, and maybe stop doing the shit that you've been doing to yourself. It's always a new chance, and there's people. Anyway, there's Vickie up on the soapbox, but there are people in hospitals right this second who are seeing a flat line, and they're not seeing it because they died. That's what I'm getting at. There are people who would love to have another day and another chance. And so if you're one of those lucky people that is listening to a podcast when you could be, I don't know, whatever.
Doing palliative yoga.
That's rough. This is why Josh and I have lasted for as long as we have, because I think we've seen some shit. And we've got some dark humor that gets us through. We've been up face to face with death, and it's not the thing that scares me anymore. It just doesn't. It's a part of life. It happens to everybody, and I just don't know that living in fear all the time is a great way to spend the time, because it is a gift to be here.
Yep.
And I just getting all this stuff in my newsfeed lately about people who are living in the future are the ones who are really stressed out. So people who are depressed are looking back. People who are anxious are looking forward. People who are happy are right now. The power is right now, and you can take control of this moment. And congratulations if you spent the last little while with us. The couch is here. There's an empty seat for you. Next episode,
make yourself some tea.
Make yourself a little cup of tea and sit down with us. Whatever you drink. Josh just likes coffee, but I like tea. And watch Ted Lasso. That's like, oh my God. We can't get him hooked on tea, but man, oh man, is that a funny show. I love Jason Sudeikis. So listen to Nateland. Listen to yourself. Write a journal. And thank you. We appreciate hearing from people and letting us know that you're listening. And do the thing, subscribe, leave the comments, because that helps other people find us. And we're going to keep working on ourselves.
That's right.
And thank you as always for listening. And Josh, thanks for listening and being there.
And thank you guys, our big team of editors and producers. And
couldn't do it without you guys.
They're not mic, so you can't hear them saying you're welcome. But yeah, we're.
And thank you to the dogs. And thank you to the kids. And thank you to just want to take this moment to. No, we don't have time for that one.
We're gonna stop now. Thanks for listening, folks.
It's been a pleasure, and we will. We'll be back here next week, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
I'm Josh Morgan.
I'm Vickie Morgan.
See you next week.